Sales is a numbers game. It's why I say to you guys, get 100 registered, get 100 registered. Because if 100 register, 30 are gonna show up. It's numbers. Okay, so the way you would have given yourself permission to believe it was successful marketing is if someone had signed up. Okay, so just to kind of clarify that, marketing brings people to an event. It doesn't sell them on the event. Sales is what converts a marketing person to a client. So there's marketing to get them to come, and then there's sales to get them to convert. And that's really important to help your brain understand. Because if you're saying I had bad marketing, my brain is like, oh, we didn't post, we didn't go live, we didn't get people registered. Registrations happen with marketing. Sales happens on the live call or at the live event that converts them into clients. Right. Okay, so we got 20 people to come and 0 people to sign up, which, not surprising, statistically, you'll only convert of 20, maybe 3, if you're really expert at sales. So don't just know that the numbers there, it's not surprising with 20, right? That's why I want 100 there. You have this belief of, I'm wanting to know how, I'm feeling of walking blindly, I don't know the next steps. And because you think that, you can block yourself from knowing, I already have the next steps. I've actually put the next steps into place. This is gonna work.
So now what's next?
Okay, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. We're gonna slow this down, okay? We're gonna slow this down. So, on the class, you're presenting and you're realizing a slideshow would have been amazing. I could have presented this more clearly. Notice you've already taken action on that. You remembered it, and then you made a slideshow, and then you have it set up to present it more clearly this time. Literally, in the action of doing your masterclass, your brain was quickly learning its own wisdom of what the next steps were. So of course, we want to know how to avoid failing before we fail.
100%.
Obviously. And yet, what if I could tell you that the more master classes you do, that those are always the key that unlocks the door for the next steps. Before the master class, you didn't have this wisdom. Now you did the master class, and now you have this wisdom of, I needed a slideshow. I needed a testimonial. Oh my gosh, you didn't have 20 show up to the Zoom. You had 5 or 6 show up to the Zoom.
20 registered.
Of course you didn't have anybody sign up. That would have been luck had that happened. I just want you to understand that, okay? So it's a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. It's why I say to you guys, get 100 registered, get 100 registered. Because if 100 register, 30 are gonna show up. It's numbers. You get 100 registered, 30 are gonna show up, and statistically, you're gonna sign between 3 and 5. It's like wildly predictable. But I think this is important to know the numbers of sales, because otherwise then your brain runs away with itself and you make up all these stories that are not facts. And so I think this is valuable for everyone to get really clear on, so that you can drop the judgment of yourself and get more people registered. The number one thing to do, that's why I'm like, don't worry about what you're gonna teach. Don't worry, we gotta worry about that immediately after, by the way. We have their money, now we have to do it, right? You gotta.
Money's in the account, I feel pretty guilty.
You should. You're starting with them next week, right? We don't wanna, it's like we end and then we go, okay? We don't look at one call to determine if the month was a success. We do 2 calls a week. We do 8 calls a month. And at the end of the month, we take the average of all the calls, and that's where we get the number from. So there was one call that we did where 0 people signed up. I was so angry. I've never had that happen before. Never in my life. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, what happened? What did I do wrong? What did we do wrong? It must have been that we did. It must have been that. Like, it was just crazy. And I went to the sales ad team, and he's very veteran coach, and who also now owns the ad agency, and he was just like, this is why we take the average. There's not even a problem here. I don't even know why you're upset. I don't even know why you're upset, Emily. We're still gonna be good. And he says it in a British accent, so it sounds more endearing that way. I'm like, less people get mad at you because of your accent. Do you know this? So remember, the more master classes you do, the higher your average is gonna be. If you have 100 people that come, you're likely gonna convert about 15% as a brand new salesperson. Really good, you've practiced a lot, you've listened to a lot of Alex Hormozi, you do it exactly the way I taught you how to do it, you can get as high as 20 to 30%. Just wanted to pull all this wisdom out of your masterclass and bring awareness that it was in doing the masterclass exactly the way that you did it that unlocked the next steps. This is something fun that just came to my mind. Olympic ice skaters. They take the same routine for an entire 2 years, and they compete at every competition. The same routine, all the way to the Olympics. I see my daughter do this in dance. It's the same 5 dances. The end of the season looks so much better than the beginning because they're not teaching a new dance for every competition. They're teaching, it's the same one. And every time they get feedback from the judges.
So they suck less.
They suck less because they're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. They're refining it, they're enhancing it, they're tweaking it. I will offer to you that my very, very favorite emotion to play in as a coach is curiosity. And any time that I notice myself in stinking thinking, like I don't know the next steps, there's puzzle pieces I can't find. Anytime those things come up for me, I immediately ask myself a question that's the opposite of it. Well, if I did know the next steps, where would I find them? Sometimes when you ask the question and I ask you a question back, it signals you to open it up. It's worth the ask to open the door. And so again, I just want this on my headstone. Curiosity is the ace up my sleeve. So if I die on the way home, someone tell Sean. Curiosity is the ace up your sleeve, always as a coach. And if you can just get curious, and you're in that mode of failure, and you're like, I don't know what the next step is, I can't do it, I'm never gonna get a client, blah, blah, blah. Well, if I could get a client, what would I need to do to attract them? You have all the answers. I promise you, Master Coach. It's there. Your brain is literally giving you ideas all the time. You're just telling yourself, that's not a good idea. No. Well, what if? No. Don't do that. I don't want to do that. I'll be too uncomfortable. Well, that won't work. But what if it did? What if you just tried all those things?